What's going on, guys? Welcome to the 7th episode of Caught in the Mix, the YouTube show where I give you my honest, unfiltered opinion on new and upcoming tracks, singles, albums, as well as looking down memory lane, looking at some older pieces of work and ranking them on a scale encompassing the mixing, the mastery, the lyrics, as well as the beats themselves. Now today we actually have a review that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is Houses of the Holy, Led Zeppelin 1973. We're going to be listening to the 2014 remastered version. I don't know if I should listen to the original mix as well, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be sticking to the 2014 one. This is one of the only Zeppelin projects that I haven't listened to through the entirety, start to finish, and I don't really have any explanation for that. Just haven't gotten around to it. I do know a couple tracks off this album, including No Quarter, which is a phenomenal song. Robert Plant's vocals on this track are just so haunting, almost whimsical. I love the artistic direction of this track, and I'm hoping that a lot of songs on this album will kind of fit into that theme, that more darker, somber theme that No Quarter adopts. I was first exposed to Led Zeppelin in my childhood through my dad. He was a huge Led Zeppelin fan. He was actually fortunate enough to go to around 8 Led Zeppelin shows when he was around my age, which is crazy. I couldn't even imagine what that would have been like. Myself, I was fortunate enough to go to Jason Bonham Led Zeppelin Evening, where he does a tribute to his father, John Bonham, and puts a tribute concert on for Led Zeppelin in general, plays some older Led Zeppelin tracks, and I was actually quite impressed with the musicians he chose to represent the other cast members of Led Zeppelin. The guitarist he chose to represent Jimmy Page was phenomenal. He even had the same mannerisms as Jimmy Page when he was on stage, the cockiness, and the vocalist that was representing Robert Plant was ridiculous as well, and he kind of hit those vocal inflections the same as Robert Plant would. The thing that sets Led Zeppelin shows apart from other shows is the fan, the audience. They're so ride or die, and they have so much energy they bring with them. The performances are so energetic, as well as just the audience, the energy they give out back to the performers is just ridiculous. It's not even comparable to newer acts today. But I'm going to stop talking your ear off, guys, and I am going to get into Houses of the Holy 2014 Remastered. The first track on this thing is called The Songs That Remains the Same, and without further ado, let's just get into it. Getting some light-hearted feelings, some summer just floating vibes. Listen to how much those cymbals just add to the track. John Bonham just going off on those cymbals. What a great intro. Wow, I'm gonna pause it, guys. Just what a great intro sound to bring into this project. Just this lighthearted, production that Led Zeppelin's kind of known for, like a similar vibe I get from Ramble On. Just this lighthearted summer vibe, and just hearing Robert Plant kind of come in with that reverb, which is something that he doesn't typically put on his voice, but it sounds like almost like they did some mixing on his voice, but it's not auto-tune. It's not corny. It's not, it adds to the track. It kind of adds to the, like, how airy the track feels. Like, it feels like it's he's in space because of how much reverb's on his voice, and I love it, so I'm just gonna get back into it. Wow, for an intro track, that is ridiculous. I have been yet to be disappointed by a Led Zeppelin intro track. I think they frame their project so well. I think they really tell you what you're getting into. They really try to encapsulate what the project is about in their title track, or in their intro track, I should say. But wow. I kind of got like an infusion of southern rock vibe with that track, like something along the lines of and I might get in trouble for saying this, but something along the lines of like a Skinnerd. I just felt like really like I had like a southern rock inspiration, which is great for kind of getting across that summer vibe, that summer feeling. So I think they did a phenomenal job on that first track. So without further ado, let's get into the second track. This one is called The Rain Song. So let's go. A little slower track. What a nice mixture of acoustic and electric at the same time.
It is the springtime of my love. The second season.
Name another band that can so perfectly match acoustic and electric guitar at the same time. Like they're in perfect harmony, just harmonizing with each other. It's ridiculous.
So little warmth I've felt before. It isn't hard to feel me glow. I watched the fire that grew so low.
I gotta pause it there, guys. When someone asks me to define Led Zeppelin's sound, it's such a hard thing to do because they are one of the most versatile bands I have ever come across. And versatility is an understatement because it's not just their ability to adopt different sounds and use them, it's their ability to master different sounds. Like, a lot of the time, the sounds they jump on are just completely mastered. How many Led Zeppelin songs do you hear acoustic and electric guitar at the same time, as well as strings? Like the implementation of strings in there, the violin, or the instrument that they're playing there. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, that is not a typical Led Zeppelin sound. The last track was sounded southern rock inspired, but somehow they both sound just so well mastered and so well produced that it's crazy. Like, if there's any certain kind of music you're looking for, you can most likely find it within Led Zeppelin's discography, which is, I can't say that about many other bands whatsoever. I love the strings. Those long-held notes are ridiculous. it is so hard to explain to somebody, again, like I said, what the Led Zeppelin sound is. And it's hard for people to grasp, I find, because when people that don't know Led Zeppelin and when they hear I'm gonna listen to Led Zeppelin, they're thinking immigrant song, they're thinking, Ramble On, they're thinking some hard guttural lyrics, some hard guttural tones from Robert Plant, and some just shredding of the guitar from Jimmy Page. But it isn't always that's not always the case. It's again the versatility that Led Zeppelin has. It's just shown through this track. It's just shown through the piano, the instrumental, like the strings in the piano and the just soft floating vocals. And not once did the really Robert Plant need to really yell and show his emotion in this track. He didn't need to, and it was still phenomenal production. So like that just shows how good their versatility is. Getting into the third track here, it is called Over the Hills and Far Away. Another solid acoustic intro. Listen to the guitar. Like, we take for granted with modern production, a lot of the guitar production is often actually like done in post. It's done in another studio, it's done by a different artist, or it's done completely electronically. Just to make this production on a track that's just a middle track. It's not even one that they necessarily intended to highlight on the album, but he's still like they don't falter when it comes to production quality. They won't let up on even like the middle tracks. They won't Led Zeppelin cared so much about their legacy and what they produced that they don't even on their tracks that are more mundane, like they still just the quality of music they produce is just ridiculous, and the skill it would take to play those notes is just ridiculous. So
Hey lady, got the love I need. Maybe more than enough. Oh darling, 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 walk a while with me. Oh, you got so much, so much, so much.
third track down on this phenomenal album so far. This is the kind of track that you can see directly where Greta Van Fleet gets their inspiration and why everyone says they sound like Led Zeppelin. Like the production, it sounds like that could just be, a more fleshed out Greta Van Fleet right now, like because the production is just so crisp, and I don't know what to say other than Led Zeppelin was just so far ahead of its time. So without further ado, let's get into the fourth track, which is called The Crunge. Let's go. Robert Plant is taking over this track. What an instrument.
Excuse me, I'm just trying to find the bridge. Has anybody seen the bridge? Please. Have you seen the bridge? I ain't seen the bridge. Where's that confounded bridge?
So far in this album, we have gone from a southern rock inspired track to a kind of like more melancholy, airy inspired track to one that sounds summer inspired and similar to the likes of Greta Van Fleet nowadays, and then to this kind of, you know, funky 80s inspired sounding before 80s. So again, as I was saying, be ahead of their time. The Crunge is just it encompasses like just these jazzy beats, just this I don't know how else to explain it, kind of these groovy beats there. The versatility, again, highlighted by this track. Let's get into the fifth one here, which is Dancing Days. All right. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about this instrumental. If anything's highlighted in this track the most, it is the drumming. John Bonham is just going off on those drums. All right, so that track there, Dancing Days, I love John Bonham, how he drummed throughout that track. I think he just going in. I loved Robert Plant's vocals. In general, I just wasn't huge on the actual just tune of the track. And that's not to say that it's not a masterpiece or a good song, you know, subjectively, but just in my opinion, that's, you know, I was not too crazy on that song. It wouldn't make it on one of my playlists, so that's just something to note. But it's important also to note that even personally, when Led Zeppelin misses for me, they are miles ahead of any other band that would have missed. You know what I mean? Like, that song would be the highlight on another band's discography, another band's album. Like, this would be a highlight, whereas it's a low point in a Led Zeppelin project, which is saying something. Let's get on to the sixth track here, which is Mak'er, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I hope I am. So let's go. Versatility, guys. Versatility. I know this instrumental. Yep. Listen to the drums.
All those tears I
Now that track there, it's again highlights the versatility, and this album in general just is like it's just a showcase of Led Zeppelin's versatility. Like this is, in my opinion, directly inspired by reggae, and I'm sure that it is. But it just has these like reggae inspired fusions, like this beat, this lighthearted, strumming, and I think this song was really made to highlight the drumming, like John Bonham's drumming, because you can hear like through the mixing even that um his recording is pitched slightly higher than the rest of it. Like you can hear the drumming more clearly than necessarily the guitar or the Robert Plant's vocals. So I think this is a track was really made to showcase the drumming. I do respect still the artistry and the chances they're taking to just try out different sounds. So on to the seventh track here, which is No Quarter, and I have heard this one, but I will gladly listen to it again with you guys here. It is one of my favorite Led Zeppelin tracks of all time, so let's just go. The bass is just so highlighted so perfectly in this song. Listen to that deep bass. Here come those haunting vocals that I was talking about. Robert Plant just kills it.
Close the door, put out the light. No, they won't be home tonight. The snow falls hard, and don't you know? The winds of Thor are blowing cold. They're wearing steel that's bright and true. They carry guns that must get through. They're just a path where no one
Reasons why I love this track. First of all, the bass guitar. This is one track where it can really shine, where it can really you can hear the deep strums, the deep notes, and the song wouldn't be whole without it. Like it wouldn't be it would not be the same song without that bass guitar. And then Robert Plant just haunting vocals. Like you can hear the desperation in his voice. You can hear the how he just holds out on notes. How he just kind of like carries the note through to through basically the whole bar. Like it's ridiculous the amount of passion he puts in his voice in this song, and then the like the strumming kind of reflects the desperation too, with like it playing a relatively hard chorus, but it's playing in this kind of this slow melancholy way that really adds to the vibe that Robert Plant set up with the vocals. So again, one of my favorite Led Zeppelin tracks. I love this song, and still love it. So let's get on to the last track on this album that I've been really enjoying. I've been loving it. Thought I would, being a Led Zeppelin fan, but let's listen to the last track on here, which is called The Ocean. Let's go.
We've done 4 already, but now we're steady and then they win. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I have heard this instrumental, definitely. I have definitely heard this instrumental before. I have definitely heard this song before, just in passing. And while listening, I already saved it to playlist. It's just one of those tracks where it's so stripped down and bare bones. It's so, like, the production is so minimalist that you can actually, like, hear the you just hear the raw notes. You hear Robert Plant's raw voice, and you just, get the feeling of, like, this is what the studio recording would have sounded like. So it's one of those special tracks where it's you get a closer connection with the actual music itself, because it feels like you're in the room listening to it as it was recorded, which is something that not all albums actually give you the pleasure of enjoying. So really appreciate that they added this track to the album, and let's just keep going. Summing up my thoughts on this track. My thoughts on this album are that it is a great showcase of Led Zeppelin's skills. It is a great example of how versatile the group is. It is a great collection of songs that really highlight different instruments and different members of the group at different times in the album itself. Like, different songs will highlight the drums, the bass guitar, the singing, the electric guitar. So it's really a great showcase of just Led Zeppelin's skills in overall. There are so many songs on this thing that, like, I love and I will be adding to my own playlist and listening to on my own time for sure. There were a few tracks that were, in Led Zeppelin terms, misses for me, which means that they are still phenomenal tracks, but they didn't really catch my ear the same as the other ones did. So I think those two that didn't really catch my ear were Mak'er and Over the Hills and Far Away. That being said, I just believe that this album was phenomenal, and there's not much out like it now that you could really compare it to. It just has such a distinct sound, and just the chances they took on this album are, commendable. Like, it should be highlighted. So that being said, considering the lyrics phenomenal, Robert Plant always comes through with those. The mixing and mastery was phenomenal on most tracks, and bare bones when they wanted it to be, which I think worked really well in their favor, like choosing certain tracks to really get across that rawness, and other tracks to show how produced they can be and how ahead of their time they are, with the funk and the kind of synthy vibe. That being said, taking all that into account, I would give this album a solid 9. So it was almost out of 10 for me, but again, those couple of tracks that, weren't bad in my opinion, but just weren't for me. So Let me know what you guys thought. If you have any trivia about the tracks I missed and you want to leave it below for other viewers. You guys killed in the last video, the Pink Floyd one. Just adding trivia down there for other viewers to watch. So if you could do the same in this one, add some tidbits here and there and just let other people know like what you thought of the track. If there's any other tracks you'd like me to react to. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for me, guys. So I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.